Is that nagging ache in your knees, your hips, or your hands getting worse with each passing year? Do you worry that this chronic, grinding pain will eventually steal your ability to do the things you love, especially for those of us over 60? Understanding this secret is the first and most powerful step you can take to reclaim a life with less pain and more freedom. It's an ingredient that is hiding in nearly everything we eat, and it is the single greatest driver of inflammation in the modern diet. The first food you must be wary of is sugar and refined carbohydrates. I want you to think of inflammation as a small, smoldering fire inside your body. In a healthy person, this fire is well controlled. But for someone with arthritis or joint pain, that fire is already burning too hot, causing the swelling, stiffness, and pain you feel every day. When you eat sugar or refined carbohydrates, your body releases a flood of inflammatory messengers called cytokines. Our bodies need a delicate balance between two types of fats, omega-3s and omega-6s. Think of omega-3s, which you get from things like fatty fish, walnuts, and flax seeds, as the firefighters. They are powerfully anti-inflammatory. Their job is to put out the fire. Many omega-6 fatty acids, especially when they come from these highly processed seed oils, are pro-inflammatory. Think of them as the arsonists. Their job is to fan the flames. Eating sugar is literally like pouring a gallon of lighter fluid onto that internal fire. We are now consuming, on average, 20 times more of the pro-inflammatory omega-6s than the anti-inflammatory omega-3s. By addressing sugar and the wrong kinds of oils, you are already taking massive steps toward a life with less pain. But there are 3 more culprits to expose. One is a beloved staple of the American dinner table, and another is a group of seemingly healthy vegetables that for some people can be a secret trigger for agonizing arthritis flare-ups. The truth about these foods is coming up next. This creates a constant, raging state of low-grade inflammation throughout your entire body. Your system is permanently on high alert. For someone with joint pain, this is catastrophic. It means your internal fire is never given a chance to die down. The solution is to perform an oil change in your kitchen. Get rid of those bottles of corn and soybean oil. For your cooking and your salads, switch to anti-inflammatory oils like extra virgin olive oil and avocado oil. Make a conscious effort to eat more omega-3 rich foods. This simple swap helps to turn off the inflammation alarm so your body can finally begin to heal. It causes an immediate, aggressive inflammatory storm that goes straight to the most vulnerable parts of your body, your already sensitive joints. This isn't just a theory, it's a direct biological reaction. The more sugar you eat, the more you are actively fanning the flames of your own pain. Starting today. This constant state of high alert and inflammation can actually begin to break down the precious cartilage that cushions your joints, making the problem progressively and permanently worse. Because for decades, it has been marketed to us as the healthy choice. I'm talking about processed vegetable and seed oils that are high in omega-6 fatty acids. The first, most crucial step you can take is to become a food detective. Start reading the labels on everything. They are the primary ingredients in margarine, bottled salad dressings, mayonnaise, coffee creamers, and most processed and packaged snacks like crackers and chips. The most common ones to look for on an ingredient label are soybean oil, corn oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil, and cottonseed oil. Most restaurants use these oils for almost all of their cooking because they are cheap. You will be shocked at where sugar is hiding. Make the simple swap from white bread and pasta to 100% whole grain versions. Ditch the sugary drinks and juices for plain water or unsweetened herbal tea. This one change alone, reducing your intake of sugar and refined carbs, can lead to a dramatic reduction in your daily pain levels. I don't just mean the spoonful you put in your coffee or the occasional dessert. The real danger lies in the hidden sugars that are packed into foods we eat every day. It's the high fructose corn syrup in your ketchup and bottled barbecue sauce. It's the sugar lurking in your salad dressings, your bread, and even in many canned soups. And it's the refined white flour in pasta, crackers, breakfast cereals, and pastries. These foods break down into sugar in your body almost instantly. Like tending to your garden, taking a long walk. The channel that empowers you to take control of your health through the wisdom of food. Today, we're not just identifying the problems, we're giving you the knowledge to fight back against the inflammation that causes so much suffering. Our goal is to help you feel younger, more mobile, and more in control of your life, one meal at a time. Or simply getting down on the floor to play with your grandchildren? You've been told it's just a part of getting older, but what if that's not the whole truth? What if the food you put on your plate every single day, even some of the foods you believe are healthy, are acting like gasoline on the fire of your joint pain? In this video, we're going to expose the 5 biggest food culprits that are known to worsen joint pain. Welcome to MealMind TV. Let's get straight to the #1 enemy of your joints. Now, when I say sugar, to understand why this is so devastating for your joints, over the long term, this cycle does more than just cause temporary pain. Now, eliminating sugar is a massive step in the right direction. But our second culprit is even more sneaky. You will find these oils everywhere. Here's why they are so bad for your joints. In a healthy, natural diet, we would consume these fats in a balanced ratio, maybe 1:1. But the modern diet is a disaster. We have just identified 2 of the biggest inflammation triggers hiding in your diet. We've just identified 2 of the most powerful inflammation triggers hiding in your diet. The obvious enemy, sugar, and the hidden enemy, processed seed oils. As well as processed products like bacon, sausages, hot dogs, and deli meats. Now, it's important to say that not all saturated fat is inherently evil. But the specific types and high amounts found in red and processed meats have been shown to trigger what's called adipose inflammation. The solution is about shifting the balance. But our 4th food group is another tricky one. For some people, it's a perfectly healthy source of calcium and protein. But for a significant portion of the population, it's a major source of hidden inflammation. Let's talk about conventional dairy products. Try to reduce your consumption of red meat to perhaps once a week as a special treat. The best way to find out is to run a simple experiment on yourself. Completely eliminate all conventional dairy from your diet for 3 weeks. No milk, no cheese, no yogurt. Be strict about it. And pay close attention to how your joints feel. Do you notice less morning stiffness? Is there a reduction in your overall pain level? If you see a significant improvement, you likely have your answer. You can then try reintroducing dairy that comes from goat's milk or sheep's milk, as they naturally contain the A2 type of casein, which does not create that inflammatory peptide. Many people find they can tolerate these just fine. You can also now find A2 cow's milk in many health food stores. Of course, unsweetened plant-based milks like almond or coconut milk are also excellent alternatives. The issue for many people isn't the dairy itself, but there is one final food group left to discuss. And this is by far the most surprising and controversial because it includes vegetables that we are constantly told are incredibly healthy for us. For a certain group of people, these healthy vegetables could be the secret reason their arthritis just won't go away. We will reveal this surprising food group in our final part. During digestion, it can break down into a peptide called beta-casomorphin 7, but a specific type of protein found in the milk from most modern dairy cows in the United States and Europe. The primary protein in milk is called casein. And there are different types of casein, most notably A1 and A2. Most of the milk, cheese, yogurt, and ice cream we buy in a typical grocery store comes from cows that produce A1 casein. And more importantly, actively replace it with proteins that fight inflammation. I'm talking about fatty fish, like wild-caught salmon, mackerel, herring, and sardines. These are packed with those anti-inflammatory omega-3 fatty acids we talked about, the firefighters. And when you do cook red meat, consider using methods with lower temperatures and more moisture, like stewing or slow cooking, which helps to significantly reduce the formation of those harmful agents. Or inflammation in your fat tissue. When your fat tissue becomes inflamed, it releases inflammatory chemicals into your bloodstream that can travel throughout your body and worsen the inflammation in your joints. For many, a meal doesn't feel complete without them. But when consumed frequently, not everyone is sensitive to A1-casein. But if you are someone who suffers from joint pain and you also experience digestive issues like bloating, gas, or general discomfort after consuming dairy, there is a very high probability that the two are connected. Your body might be telling you that it does not like this type of protein. These meats can fuel the inflammatory fire in two significant ways. Simply by being mindful of these two, you are taking massive steps toward reclaiming a life with less pain. But the investigation doesn't stop there. Our third food group is a beloved staple of the American dinner table, a symbol of tradition and comfort, but one that could be contributing to the stiffness in your joints. I'm talking about red and processed meats. This includes foods like steaks, hamburgers, and pork. The first is through their high content of saturated fats. The second, and perhaps more powerful mechanism, involves something called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs for short. These are harmful compounds that are formed when foods, especially those high in fat and protein like red meat, are cooked at high temperatures. Grilling, broiling, roasting, and frying all create a large amount of these AGEs. When you eat a grilled steak or a fried sausage, you are consuming these inflammatory compounds. Your body's immune system recognizes them as foreign invaders and mounts an attack, which creates a state of oxidative stress and, you guessed it, more inflammation. If your joints are already sensitive, this constant defensive reaction can pour fuel on the fire of your arthritis, leading to more pain and stiffness. This does not mean you have to become a vegetarian. Cutting back on red meat can make a noticeable difference. This is a nuanced topic. Here's the problem. For many people, the A1 type of casein can be difficult to digest. It is crucial to understand that this is about bio-individuality. So what can you do? So far, we've unmasked 4 major inflammation triggers: sugar, bad oils, red meat, and for some, conventional dairy. We have now pulled back the curtain on 4 major food groups that could be contributing to your daily joint pain: the inflammatory duo of sugar and processed seed oils, the potential burden of red and processed meats, and for many, the hidden trigger in conventional dairy products. But there is one final food group left to discuss. This is by far the most surprising and controversial of them all. The vast majority of people can and should eat nightshades with absolutely no problem and enjoy their many health benefits. Just like with dairy, the only way to find out is to become your own health detective. So, after all of this information, what is the most important message to take away from our time together today? The gold standard is to try a strict elimination of all nightshade vegetables for a full month. We then saw how red meat can add to that inflammatory burden and how conventional dairy can be a hidden trigger for many. You are not helpless in the face of your joint pain. Is there a specific food you have noticed that triggers your pain? Please show your support by giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to MealMind TV. We are here to give you the tools you need to live a long, active, and vibrant life. Please share your experience in the comments. It could be the missing piece of the puzzle for someone else in our community. You just need to give it the right information and the right fuel. Here's to a future with more movement and less pain. Thanks for watching. You are not simply destined to a life of increasing pain and more medication. You have a tremendous amount of power, and that power resides right in your own kitchen. You have the ability to turn down the dial on inflammation and reclaim the active, joyful life you deserve. And finally, we uncovered the surprising and very personal role that even healthy nightshade vegetables can play for those who are sensitive. And it must be a full month, because it can take that long for these compounds to fully clear your system. If, at the end of that month, you notice a dramatic, undeniable improvement in your pain levels and morning stiffness, then you have just discovered a major key to your own health puzzle. You can then try reintroducing them one at a time, very slowly, to see which specific vegetable is your personal trigger. This is a classic case of the old saying, "One man's food is another man's poison." While the mainstream scientific evidence is still being debated, the anecdotal evidence from thousands upon thousands of people who have found profound relief from their arthritis pain after eliminating nightshades is simply too overwhelming to ignore, because it includes a family of vegetables that we are constantly told to eat for our health. But for a specific group of people, these healthy vegetables could be the secret reason their arthritis pain simply will not go away. At one end of the spectrum, you have foods like sugar and processed oils. These are inflammatory for almost everyone. They are the universal villains. At the other end of the spectrum, you have foods like nightshades and conventional dairy, which are only inflammatory triggers for some people, based on their unique genetics and sensitivities. The journey to a life with less pain is about discovering where your personal triggers lie on that spectrum. Our fifth and final potential pain trigger is the nightshade family of vegetables. Let me be clear, this is the one that causes the most debate, because nutritionally, these foods are superstars. They are packed with vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. But for a certain percentage of people who suffer from arthritis, they can be a major source of pain. The nightshade family includes some very common foods: tomatoes in all their forms, all types of peppers including bell peppers and hot peppers like chili and cayenne, all potatoes except for sweet potatoes, and eggplant. So why would these healthy vegetables cause a problem? It comes down to a group of natural compounds they contain called alkaloids. It's believed that it can contribute to inflammation, especially in the joints, and directly trigger an arthritis flare-up. Some researchers also suggest that for these sensitive people, solanine can interfere with calcium metabolism in the body, which could potentially lead to calcium being deposited in soft tissues, including the cartilage around the joints, causing further pain and stiffness. Plants produce alkaloids as a part of their natural defense system to protect themselves from insects and disease. Nightshades, in particular, are high in a specific type of alkaloid called solanine. The theory is that in individuals who are sensitive, this solanine compound can be an irritant to the body. Now, I want to emphasize this point with extreme clarity. This is not true for everyone. So how do you know if this applies to you? And that is our fifth and final potential pain trigger. It's that you should think of your body's reaction to food on an inflammation spectrum. We started this journey by identifying the universal enemies that fuel the fire of inflammation: the sugar and the processed seed oils. But the most powerful message I want to leave you with is this. Many people are surprised by the connection between tomatoes and joint pain. If this video has empowered you with new information to fight your joint pain, remember, your body has an incredible ability to heal.